In a time when it's all about options, has this manufacturer, has this club gone a little bit too far? When we're looking at the top end of the bag on the Everyday Golfer, we're trying to find something that gives you forgiveness, that performs, that makes it a little bit easier for you to lower your scores, put yourself into position, and maybe even hit a few more greens from further back. This club for me might have pushed the limit, gone a little bit too far. That's what we're going to talk about today here on the Everyday Golfer. Strong flight, a little bit right. What club is it? And today, guys, we are talking about the Vega Mizar Max driving iron. So very interesting, you'll see that on the screen now. So something that they've brought out with different options. And when I say different options, you can see the one we're going to be using today does have a steel shaft in it. It is a little bit of a shorter shaft, but the loft is incredibly strong. You can see the lofts that they do there. The 2-iron from the Mizar Max range is at 14 degrees. That's going to be an extremely hard to hit club. But who's it for? So we've got two balls here, and this is very interesting because we know that a lot of golf clubs at the minute, especially for the everyday golfer, are trying to get you that little bit more launch. If you've got a slower swing speed, we're trying to help you get that elevation, to get it carrying a little bit further, potentially running out a little bit longer, but being able to be versatile to hit into the greens. This for me is obviously set at 17 degrees, so I have another 2-iron in the bag, and I'm going to show you that shortly, which is 18 degrees. So the 2-iron is stronger than this 3-iron. So this is where it can get confusing that, okay, which is a 2-iron, which is a 3-iron, what loft is what, that's what we need to know. Your traditional loft from a 3-iron is going to be around about 21 degrees, so in some driving irons you're going to start to see that it's 21 degrees, you've just got a longer shaft in there, and we've got some things that make it a little bit easier. Normally a more hollow body design to help you get that launch but still get the ball speed coming off just as quick. With this club, for me, obviously we've seen the ball flight on the first one, a little bit low and a little bit to the right. I'm going to hit 2 shots here, and I'm going to see, okay, that one that launches a little bit low, which is a fantastic shot depending on obviously where you play your golf. For me on here, obviously just getting into the winter, might not be a club that I'd use a lot. And you can see by that tracer, I've hit that straight out of the middle of the club, felt pretty solid, took a nice little divot, but extremely low, probably not even 10 feet off the ground. So it's going to be interesting when we talk about numbers shortly, exactly what it starts to see, where is it actually carrying to, because carrying in the winter and carrying in the summer is something that we probably want. If you're hitting one of these irons, you don't want to be landing at 150 yards and running out to 200, because there's probably going to be trouble in between that. Now for versatility, can I hit this a little bit higher? I've teed this one up, the other one was off the ground. Can I get this launching high without changing much? I mean, it was higher, but by no means is it nice and high. That's probably what this club is designed for. It's not designed to maybe go high. So for me, it might be great off a tee. It's going to be very hard into the greens. Again, £260 for this club. You can see the finish on there, but you can see it certainly started to mark up a little bit. You can see the strike was out of the middle, but for £260, it's marking up. It's not very versatile in my eyes. As we have a graphite shafted 2-iron here, and again we can see the difference straight away there. We've got about 1.5 inches shorter, so playing closer to your standard 3-iron. So again, speed wise, it's maybe not going to give you that little bit more speed. Obviously being able to play with this, it's going to start to feel a little bit more like an iron, so you might feel like over the ball you have a little bit more control. Whereas we know when somebody goes potentially to a graphite shaft, to a 2-iron shaft, to a hybrid shaft, it starts to feel a little bit long, you don't have as much control. But we're going to test that down here after we see the numbers. Okay, so inside let's start to see some numbers. I'm going to go with the 3-iron/2-iron first, so the 17 degree Vega. So what am I expecting from here? I'd like to see that it's carrying probably over 210, maybe running out to 230, 240 on a good one. Be very interesting to see if I can get it to carry that far, because it just feels hard to launch. Again, that one felt solid. Certainly launched a little bit higher than outside. Let's see. 210 carry, running out to 225. Excellent, thank you very much. So very interesting there that's obviously a little bit higher than it was outside, but it has carried those numbers that I wanted it to. Again, feel off the face, it does feel fantastic when you do get it out of the middle, which maybe I haven't done on the golf course as of yet. A little bit of a toey one there. Sounded a little bit clicky, let's see. 215 carry going out to 230, so again, Golfson's happy with me. It's down the middle, so very interesting there. Numbers inside, certainly a little bit easier to hit in here because I haven't got a target. Maybe I'm not on a golf course, I'm not worried about losing a golf ball in here, and maybe that does play a factor, but you can see numbers wise from those two shots, pretty consistent. Even with a miss hit, it's actually still kept its ball speed, so very interesting that Vega do claim this is one of the most forgiving clubs with performance, and that has proved it. So I'll switch over into the Srixon now. So Srixon up here, let's see, will it carry a little bit further? Again, longer shaft, let's start to see, is it going to be a big difference? Again, felt solid, certainly launched a lot higher there, spun up a little bit more, but carry wise, carried 234, gone 250, so straight away off there, it has carried a lot further. We know this is a 2-iron, not a 3-iron. We also know it's a little bit longer, but if we're talking degrees, we know this is 18, and that is actually stronger loft, but 1.5 inches shorter. So let's try one more. Certainly a higher fly, which is very interesting. Obviously, shaft setup is also going to affect that. Okay, launch pretty high, straight down the middle. Let's see. 220 carry, gone 230, so wasn't the best hit there, so very interesting there. Wasn't the best hit, but did lose a little bit more distance than the Vega did when I had a miss hit. That actually went a little bit further off the toe and a little bit high, so interesting numbers there, guys. Let's jump back out on the golf course. Certainly both feel the same. If anything, I would say it actually does feel a little bit more solid off the face with the Vega. Maybe that's to do with the shaft again as well, feeling like it's a little bit more like an iron. Let's get back out there. So very interesting that Vega do say, obviously you will see there on the website, that this is designed for forgiveness, maximum forgiveness, but also performance. But for me here down in the fairway, looking down at 17 degrees, even if it's not the longest of shafts, doesn't fill me with confidence in being able to get this ball landing nicely on the green. I don't feel like I can get any launch without manipulating it, which if that's hard for me, what's it going to be like for the everyday golfer? Launch tie, a little bit of a fade up the right, so that launched a little bit higher. Wasn't the best swing. Again, let's put another one on there. I'm really starting to fight this. Let me just put a normal golf swing on this. Identical. Both there out to the right, not, I mean, pretty centred strikes. It's an interesting strike pattern pretty much towards the middle, but I've obviously left the club face open there and leaked it a little bit out to the right. It's just certainly looking down behind that club with that little loft, it's not filling me with confidence to be able to get that ball attacking the flags. And I'm going to put this to the test now with both of them. If we go on obviously looks, I do really like the finish. Looks very industrial from the Vega. Again, like I said inside, the sound and feel off the face, the feel is very soft. That soft steel that the Vega iron has used does feel great when you do get it out of the middle. But again, comment below, which do you prefer the looks of? We're going to put that to the test now. Again, for me, like I've mentioned there, the feel and sound off this Vega when you do hit it, it feels as good as anything, and that's the main thing there. We're trying to get something that does feel solid off the face, it does sound good, but also it performs. I certainly do think, like I mentioned inside, that this is going to be absolutely perfect in the summer. This is a club that you might go to if you're struggling with your driver at this loft. With the trajectory you're going to get, you're going to be able to get a lot of run out there, and if you're not confident with woods, then it's something certainly to look at. We know that you can get graphite shafts there. You don't have to go for the steel shaft. So think of the options that you have got with this club. Has it gone a little bit too far for me? Yes, testing it in the winter is probably not the best time to test. This might be a video that we redo in the summer and see what I can score over 9 holes using something like this. Maybe even try and get the 14-degree one and start to see what that does. So I'm going to hit 2 here. I'm going to hit 1 with the Vega, then I'm going to hit 1 with the Srixon, and we're going to start to see distance-wise, if I get a similar strike, how's it looking out here? Right, that's a good strike. I couldn't hit that any better. Again, a little bit of a fade. I've seen it bounce, so that's a good start. So we know with the Srixon ZX we're going to get that little bit more club head speed anyway from it being a little bit longer, and that's for me where we're going, okay, I'm going to get more distance because of the lower loft, but then I'm going to get more speed with this, so we've got the best of both worlds potentially with this shaft. If I can put a similar swing on this, I should be able to see what the difference is. And that for me, just a little bit left, probably close to the middle of the fairway, hit just as good, launched exactly the same, but will that extra bit of shaft length give me that little bit more distance? But that's where obviously we're talking about, yes, a little bit longer might give you more distance, but it might make you a little bit more erratic. So that's where you really have to know what you are wanting from a driving iron. Okay guys, so as we walk up here we can see this first ball is the Vega ball, second ball just up there a little bit longer on the line is that Srixon 2 iron. So we can see not much in it at all, so we've got a good option there. And has it gone too far for me? I'm not so sure, because if you play Heathland courses, if you play links golf a lot, then that club could be absolutely perfect. It could be in your bag all year round. Whereas if you play a Parkland course when it gets a little bit wetter in the winter and even in the summer, maybe not the perfect club for that. So it's thinking about what kind of golf you play. Do you struggle off the tee? Do you want a shorter driving iron? Do you want something that's a little bit stronger to get you still out there and keeping up with your playing partners? It's certainly something to look at. So Vega has brought something that's a little bit different. I'll be certainly interested to test the 14-degree one out and see how far that goes. But guys, comment below, do you have Vega irons? Have you tested them? Are you looking to get some? And what else would you like to see on the channel?